Hi everyone! So as I talked about in my last video, I got to run my first session as a GM as well as my first session in D&D. So today I thought I'd do a review of my thoughts of the D&D Starter box set. Let's get started. In this box, it comes with everything you need to get started. The dice that it came with are pretty good, decent dice. They seem pretty good quality, seem to roll well. And since it only comes with one set, you might want to go out and pick up a couple more sets if this is your first time ever playing a session and none of the other players are going to come with their dice. Because while you really only need one set to play, you're going to have to be passing around a lot, and it just speeds things up if everybody has their own dice. One of the things in the box is the rule book. And looking at this is a really nice pared down version of D&D. It's pretty thin, so it's really easy to read through. You could hand this off to your players and they can read through it before the session. The book doesn't have anything about how to generate a character. It does have information on leveling up your characters, so I think that's part of the reason that the book is so small. It's not intimidating. You could easily read this a night or a weekend if you're a slow reader. All the rules were pretty easy to understand. And it even had some suggestions in the adventure book on how to make rules for things that aren't covered in the rule books. Another nice thing about the rule book is it's pretty easy to navigate. On the front page down here, it lists where everything is. Things broken down pretty easily, so hey, look, here's armor, so you're going to buy some armor, and it explains all of that. There is some nice artwork in this book. To give you kind of some nice inspiration and some visuals for your players. As well as the adventure book on the back has an index of the rule books, which is really nice for the GM. Also included is the adventure book. I thought this book was really well written. It's laid out well, where it kind of walks you through what you're going to need to know as you advance through the adventure. I really liked they have these sections that are in yellow, and that's advice for the GM. In addition to the sections in yellow, they also have sections that are clearly marked for you to read to your players. So that's the description of what a character they're interacting with looks like and how they act, or how they walk into a part of the forest. What does that part of the forest look like? And it's nice because they tell you very early on, you can just read straight from the book, or you can read that and then take that as inspiration and come up with your own twist on it. The final thing that was included were pre-generated character sheets. And it was really nice having the pre-generated characters for this campaign because you ended up with exactly who you needed. While the adventure is designed for 4 to 5 players, because there are 2 fighters, you're probably going to end up with a nice variety. We played it, we had the cleric, the wizard, the rogue, and one of the fighters. We had the folk hero fighter, which was a really fun character. The nice thing about these character sheets is it's not just all numbers on these sheets. There was a section on background that was really nice because that gave a little bit more insight into the character. That background got tied into what was going on in the adventure. On the front of the page are personality traits, ideals, flaws, and bonds. So bonds are what are their connections to other people's, flaws pretty self-explanatory, as well as ideals and personality traits. So that was kind of nice to have those sections. One thing, I don't know if it's something that's new to 5th edition or something that has existed in Dungeons & Dragons for a while, is the advantage and disadvantage system. Certain abilities or spells grant your character an advantage or disadvantage. The mechanic for that is you roll 2 d20s, and for advantages you take the highest one, and for disadvantage you take the lowest one. I thought it was an interesting mechanic to break things up a little bit, that it wasn't just a pure, bonus across the board. There was a chance that it would work out in your favor. One thing to note on the advantages and disadvantage is the dice that come in the box only has 1 d20. That's one thing that I think Dungeons & Dragons maybe could have thrown in an extra d20 so that you didn't have to worry about rolling that twice and remembering numbers when you already only have 1 set of dice, potentially. Another mechanic I really, really liked is the inspiration mechanic, and that's where you give some kind of tokens. We used just little markers, and they had suggestions for using coins or kind of whatever. little small token that you can hand off to a character, and you give that inspiration point to them when they've done a really great job at role-playing something. So making those choices and acting it out in character. And what inspiration points does for the players is they get to take that and use it kind of like Edge in Shadowrun, where they can use that to re-roll or give themselves an advantage later on in the game. One thing is you can only have one inspiration point at a time. I think I would like to see that bumped up to 2 or maybe 3. Overall, I think the booklet and the way they explained the game really helps to emphasize the idea that the point is to have fun and to role play. It's not so much about winning a game. You know, it is rewarding when you get to that final boss and beat it, but the moments that are going to stay with you and that everybody's going to remember are the things that happen in character, in the character interactions, and that's really the fun of role-play games. And the booklets do a good job of conveying that. Another little quip with it is the maps and all the drawings are really great, but there's no really good way to show the players the maps without showing them a page that will have spoilers on it. So I would have liked to see either put the maps all on one page where you can just flip it over and show them a big nice map, or put them in as inserts so you can pull them out and put them on the board, and so the players could see, okay, this town's here, and this thing's here. Overall, I think this is a really great way to introduce people to RPGs, to the hobbies. I've seen the box set in stores and it's usually priced about $20. So if you break down the price, that's probably about 16 hours for $20 for 5 to 6 people. That's a really good price. And I think it's also nice that it's maybe not as much of an investment if you're not sure if you want to get into the hobby or not sure if this system is for you. It's a lot less expensive than going out and dropping all the money for all of the core rule books. So I would give this 3.5 out of 5 stars, and here's why. It's really good introduction, easy to understand rules, gives you everything you need. There are a few drawbacks, but they're kind of minor things, but they are there. So that's it. Those are my thoughts on the D&D Starter Set. If you've picked up the Starter Set, I'd like to know what your thoughts are. If you've actually played the Starter Set and then gone out and picked up the core book, I'm interested to know how they compare. Let's talk about it down in the comments. And if you've liked this video, make sure to like and subscribe. We've got new videos here every week. We'll see you next time. Bye!